Hey, what's up, everyone? John Manson with the Sea Red. Back this week as we look ahead to Liberty's matchup Saturday in Norfolk against the Old Dominion Monarchs. The Flames obviously are 1-3, lost three straight games, limping a little bit coming into this one, while the Monarchs are 2-1. Had a bye week last week, and had a big win over Virginia Tech in Blacksburg last week, 45-26. Kind of put the final nail in the coffin of Brent Pry in his time in Blacksburg, leading the Hokies. Meanwhile, the Flames lost to James Madison 31-13, a game that Liberty led 13-10 midway through the third quarter, before the Dukes kind of took control of that game and uh, pulled away, right? Scoring, what was that, 21 straight points to seize that game and that win, as Liberty dropped its third straight, now 0-3 against FBS teams this season. Most notably, obviously, is the quarterback situation where Ethan Vasco was lost to injury. The last drive, pretty much, the final minute, final 30 seconds of the first half against JMU, fell on his shoulder, as well as a JMU defensive lineman fell on top of him to exasperate the injury. It was something Coach Chavel said that he initially suffered a shoulder injury in week 2 at Jacksonville State and has kind of been playing through it. And, obviously he did not return to the game in the second half against the Dukes, and was seen on the sidelines with out of uniform and with his right arm in a sling. So the initial thought, the initial concern, the initial fear was that he may be out for an extended period of time, not knowing the official diagnosis of the injury. Your thoughts are perhaps a dislocated shoulder, broken collarbone, those types of injuries that happen so frequently in football. But then on Tuesday, Coach Chavel said that Vasco had made a lot of progress in the prior 48 hours, and since the end of the game Saturday, and it wasn't out of the realm for him to play this week against ODU. At practice on Tuesday, Vasco was out there, in full uniform, had the shoulder pads on, was throwing the football, taking snaps under center, taking snaps from the shotgun, tossing around a weight ball. So it looked like he was, he was limited in practice, right? And Michael Merdinger got a lot of the snaps with the first team, but Vasco was there and part of practice, which is pretty remarkable that he made that quick of a turnaround in such a short period of time. So the question remains, like, what's Vasco's status for this week? And the good news for Liberty is maybe it puts ODU in a tough spot where they have to prepare for multiple quarterbacks, right? Prepare for what if Vasco does play? This is what we'll have to do, and then if he doesn't play, and could we see multiple quarterbacks in that situation where Merdinger plays and maybe even Ethan Houck plays, a true freshman, which we saw both of those guys kind of rotate in and out. My gut says that Liberty kind of holds Vasco back, as are a week away. After this game, you got a week and a half off before you take on UTEP, and that's the start of 7 straight conference games. So we'll have to see. Obviously, if Vasco can go, I'm sure he'll give it a shot. But we'll have to see. Like I said, my gut is that he doesn't play, and Liberty turns it over to Merdinger. And I think with a full week of preparation, maybe Merdinger gets a shot to run the full offense. There could potentially be a package for Houck in obvious running situations, maybe even short yardage situations, red zone packages, that type of thing. But we'll see. It could be a dual quarterback situation. I think with a full week to prepare, lots of things are on the table, and Liberty's obviously just looking for a jump start. Get a jump start, get some positive momentum, and moving in the right direction. So we'll obviously be paying a lot of attention to that pregame Saturday down on the field and on the sidelines as the Flames take the field and start warming up. There will be no player availability report released an hour prior because the Sun Belt does not do that. So Conference USA is elected to not do that either during these non-conference tilts. And that'll change once you get into conference action. But we'll be there and try to figure out who's available, who's not available. But looking at this game, like Old Dominion, it's a far cry from the team we've seen the last several meetings where Liberty's dominated this series, won 4 in a row. 4 straight games in the series, and all those games with both teams at the FBS level. Obviously, in 2018, Liberty's first ever game as a full FBS member. Liberty just blitzed all over the Monarchs in Lynchburg, and it's kind of been a lot of the same recently. And ODU has not had a winning record in several years, going back to their FCS days. Made a bowl appearance here or there as they finished the year at 6-6, and then lose the bowl game. But Ricky Ronnie is the head coach there, and he's kind of got things figured out, at least through the first 3 games. We'll see if that continues for a whole season for ODU. And I think the biggest key to that, 2 things that kind of stand out to me is, 1, their offensive line play, and 2, their quarterback play. Colton Joseph, a redshirt sophomore, he started, I think it was 8 games last year, played in 9. So he has some experience, and he's really taken his game to the next level this year. He's thrown for over 600 yards, 5 touchdowns, does have 3 interceptions. He also is a dual threat guy. He leads the team in carries and yards, toting the rock 30 times through the first 3 games, 291 yards, 4 touchdowns. He's 14th in total offense in all of FBS, 15th in points responsible for. So he's a complete package. He can throw the ball around the field to several different targets, receivers, tight ends, backs as well too. And then he can also obviously run the ball as well too. And then the offensive line is a veteran group. They've been around for a little while. We've got a few transfers in there, including a guy that's playing his 7th year of football, first at ODU. Like I said, a veteran group that's been around, and they've only allowed 2 sacks all season, rank among the nation leaders in that department, as well as tackles for loss allowed. I think they're 8th in the country there. The Monarchs are 30th in total offense with 461 yards of offense per game, 35th in scoring offense, scoring over 37 points a game. So this is a team that's firing on all cylinders on offense, and they've done that against 2 FBS teams, right? It's not like they played slouches, right? They did it against Virginia Tech, and their season opener was against Indiana, who's was in the CFP last year and looks primed to make a run in the Big Ten again this season. And they played them, I think it was 27-14 in the season opener. It was 27-14, and based on what Indiana's done the past few weeks, that looks like a pretty solid, close loss. And then they beat a FCS opponent as well too. So North Carolina A&T, I believe it was, or was it North Carolina Central? North Carolina Central 54-6 in the home opener. And this is our second game back at home for the season. And it's one of those things like I feel like if ODU had played Virginia Tech last week and was coming off that loss, and now they're preparing to play a team that's 1-3 that's struggling, like you could see, it's a look ahead game, where they're looking to get into conference play and to compete for Sun Belt title. But they've had a week to kind of sit back and rest up from that, kind of digest the big win, and look ahead to this game against Liberty. And let's also remember, like, their coaching staff, their players, they don't forget what Liberty's done to them, winning 4 straight in the series. So, I mean, you heard players from ODU talking earlier in the week about how they've never beaten Liberty. So I don't think this is a game that they're going to overlook. They're going to be ready to play and kind of make a statement in this game Saturday. That's kind of my opinion. So I don't think they'll overlook the Flames in any manner. Liberty's kind of, they're struggling, but some of these teams are playing so far as, probably had this game, circled or semi-circled all season. Certainly Jack State did. I think Bowling Green and first-year head coach Eddie George kind of like looked at that as their first opportunity to pick up a marquee win in the non-conference, and obviously the rivalry last week with with JMU, and it kind of continues this week against ODU. And even when you get into conference play, like these teams are going to be looking to knock off the Flames, regardless of what Liberty's record is. So, Liberty's defense has really struggled, specifically in stopping the run, and ODU ranks as one of the top rushing teams in the country, and 16th, specifically averaging 245 yards rushing per game. And seeing what Liberty's done on rushing defense, I would imagine Coach Ronnie and their staff's going to be looking to pound the rock and dominate time of possession, dominate the line of scrimmage. So that's a huge concern for Liberty, especially with this ODU experienced and veteran offensive line. So a lot of reasons for concern and worry. ODU, the 16.5 point favorite, is the largest spread Liberty's faced as an underdog since the game against Oregon in the Fiesta Bowl, and obviously Liberty hasn't been an underdog at all, hardly under Coach Chadwell. Obviously Liberty was last week against JMU. I think it was 9.5, but so not many are expecting the Flames to do much this week. On defense, ODU has been solid. They're 51st in scoring defense, allowing just under 20 points a game. They have given up over 200 yards rushing per game, which is 124th in the country. So maybe that's a place Liberty can try to attack. But again, with the quarterback issues and concerns, if I'm ODU, I'm forcing Liberty to pass regardless of who's quarterback, whether it's an injured Vasco or a redshirt freshman Merdinger without a lot of playing experience, potentially making his first career start, and or Ethan Houck or even a Jaden Bradford. I mean, those guys just haven't played much football, so you kind of just load up the box and dare Liberty to take shots down the field and try to keep everything in front of you and go against, try to stop the run. So it's going to be a big challenge for Liberty on that side of the ball. And one thing that the Monarchs have been good at is creating some havoc with that defense, getting into the backfield. And, they got 24 TFLs in 3 games, which is 14th in the country. And they're also 10th in the country in red zone defense, which is something where Liberty has struggled in the last 4 games, really, struggled to get touchdowns, but punch the ball in the end zone. That's something Liberty will have to do this week. And, it kind of feels like Liberty's got to play, I feel like a repeating record, but Liberty's got to play from ahead at some point in time. They just haven't been able to do it. They tried to do it against JMU last week, was up 10-3, but then the Dukes respond right back and tie the game up and then take the lead in the second half and don't look back. And if Liberty can get an early lead, kind of play from ahead, put the other team on their heels a little bit, it could change things. But that's a tall tall task to expect against a really good and really confident team. And obviously from Liberty's side, are they confident, right? You would think that a lot of the confidence they're lacking right now and kind of waiting for something bad to happen, because that's what's happened each of the past 3 games. And hopefully they can figure it out and somebody can step up and kind of lead this team, because a win over a team like ODU, where you're a double-digit underdog on the road, can kind of spur things to help turn around the season. And obviously Liberty's got a 6-game bowl streak on the line too, and sitting at 1-3, you got to win 5 of your last 8 games, and you don't want to drop to 1-4 and make it 5 out of 7. Things could certainly spiral from there. So I'm really curious, as we all are in this Liberty quarterback situation, like assuming Vasco can't go, is it Merdinger? Is it Merdinger full time? How much of an opportunity does Houck get? Does Bradford get an opportunity? Does he get a look? And can whoever it is, whether it's Merdinger or Houck or Bradford, can they have some success in passing the ball? I mean, Merdinger specifically, like, he's shown some potential. He's got an arm on him. We heard Coach Chadwell in the preseason talk about how Merdinger, is a guy that he has confidence in and someone he thinks that Liberty could win some games behind even this season. And now, we're going to learn if that's true. So it's a chance for him to showcase his skills and his ability, and you never know. I mean, things have happened, crazier things have happened before, crazier, bigger upsets have happened before. Maybe Liberty can find a gem, whether it's a Merdinger or Hauk, or maybe Vasco has an amazing story and recovers in such short order, and he's going back home. He's from the 757 area, originally committed to ODU out of high school, before Kansas out of the Big 12 got involved, and he ended up there to begin his college career before Coastal Carolina, and now at Liberty. So it's a game that he was looking forward to. So would love for him to be able to play, but so that would be an amazing story if he's able to fight through that injury and play this week, and lead the team to an upset win on the road in front of his home fans, his home area. I'm sure I have a lot of friends and family in the area and at the game this weekend. Or Ken Merger. I mean, a redshirt freshman transfer from North Carolina. It would be a storybook writing for him. A great story to tell for him if he was able to lead the Flames to the upset. And if that were to happen and he plays really well, and let's say he throws for a few touchdowns and 250 plus yards, does that mean maybe we got a quarterback competition moving forward? It could happen. Liberty's obviously looking for anybody to spark them right now, and why not be a guy like a Merdinger or a Hauk if he gets the opportunity. So both of these guys are young. They have a lot of upside, a lot of potential, and Liberty needs them now. And Coach Chadwell said it in his press conference on Tuesday. It doesn't matter. We're not going to make excuses whether you're the third string, fourth string guy. It's the next guy up, and we need you to lead us down the field. And if you can't do it, we'll move to the next guy. And that's kind of where Liberty finds himself. And like I said, they need somebody to step forward and take a leadership, and kind of try to provide something for this team, push them forward to try to get a win. I think we saw some of that from Brylan Green last week against JMU. Played an amazing game, especially with just one arm, as he's got a cast on his right arm, but still hauled in an interception. I think he led the team in tackles, maybe second team in tackles. Liberty needs that again from Brylan and others on defense, but who's the guy on offense that can step forward? Can it be an Evan Dickens? Can it be a Jacob Jenkins at a tight end, or one of the other running backs, or one of the other receivers? Even an offensive line. Can the offensive line create some push to allow this running game to get on track? I mean, something we talked about in our notebook earlier this week is how Liberty's rushing numbers are down significantly from each of the past two seasons, and specifically from that 2023 year where Liberty led the nation in rushing, and even last year top 5 in the country in rushing. And we've seen rushing yards per game has decreased each of the past 3 seasons. Yards per carry has decreased, and it's kind of led to the time of possession battle flipping into the other team, into the opponent's favor so far through the first 4 games this season. And Liberty's 22-2 when out rushing its opponent under Coach Chadwell, and 0-6 when being outrushed. So if Liberty cannot find success on the ground and they continue to be gashed on the other side through the run game, it could be a long day Saturday, but we'll just have to wait and see. Who can step up, who can emerge, and kind of lead this team out from the doldrums and out from the cloud of negativity that kind of surrounds the team and the program right now. And who can that be? Can they step up and lead this team to victory, or will Liberty fall to 1-4? We'll just have to wait and see what happens Saturday night, 6 p.m. ESPN Plus. I'll be there in person covering the game and all of our normal game day and post-game coverage as Liberty concludes non-conference play and takes on the Monarchs in Norfolk. Talk to you guys later.